There is an asset that every builder is generating every single day that almost none of them are managing deliberately. It does not show up in their revenue figures. It does not appear in any report they look at weekly. It accumulates silently in the background of everything they do, and most of them only become aware of it when they try to scale or step back and discover that the most valuable things in their business live nowhere except inside their own heads. I became aware of this at a point in my business when I was trying to document what I actually did. Not the tasks, the thinking, the frameworks I used to diagnose client problems, the patterns I had noticed across dozens of engagements that told me where the real issue was before the client had finished explaining it. The sequence of questions I had developed that reliably surfaced the information I needed to do the work well. I had never written any of it down because I had never needed to. It was just how I operated. When I tried to capture it, I discovered two things. First, there was far more of it than I had realized. Years of client work had produced a body of knowledge that was genuinely valuable and genuinely specific to the way I understood and approached problems in my space. Second, almost none of it existed anywhere outside of me. If I had stepped away from the business at that point, the most valuable thing in it would have walked out the door with me. Buried intellectual capital is the most undervalued asset in almost every service business. It is the accumulated knowledge, patterns, and frameworks a builder develops through years of client work that never gets captured in any form the business can use independently. Every engagement generates it. Almost none of it gets extracted. So the builder gets smarter every year, while the business stays just as dependent on the builder being present as it was on day one. The extraction process is not complicated, but it requires treating the capture of knowledge as a deliberate activity rather than something that happens automatically. After every significant client engagement, I started asking myself, what did I learn here that I did not fully know before? What pattern did this confirm or complicate? What would I do differently next time and why? Those questions produced answers that I wrote down and organized into a body of documented thinking that over time became something genuinely valuable. Not just to me as a reference, but as raw material for content, for frameworks, for the processes I used to train others, and eventually for products that could deliver value without requiring my direct involvement. Reputation is a compounding asset that most builders never manage deliberately. Every delivery either deposits into it or withdraws from it. The builders who understand this treat every client engagement not just as work to be done, but as an opportunity to add to something that will keep working on their behalf long after that client is gone. The ones who do not treat it that way have the same reputation in year 5 that they had in year 1 because it was never deliberately built. Managing reputation deliberately means being conscious of what each engagement is adding to the picture the market has of you. Not in a manipulative way, in the way that a craftsperson is conscious of their work, representing them long after they have moved on from it. It means declining work that would pull the picture in the wrong direction. It means documenting and distributing the results of work that moves the picture in the right direction. It means being consistent enough in your standards and your positioning that the market can form a clear view of what you stand for and what it means to work with you. I had a period where I was inconsistent about this. I was taking work that paid well, but did not represent what I was trying to become known for. I was delivering results in areas that were not where I wanted to build my reputation because the revenue felt necessary at the time, and the consequence was not dramatic. It was just slow. The picture the market had of me was blurry because the signals I was sending were pointing in too many directions at once. The moment I became more deliberate about what I allowed to represent me publicly, the picture started to clarify and the right kind of inbound started to increase. Not immediately. Over months. But the relationship between what I was putting out and what was coming back became much more direct once I stopped letting short-term revenue decisions blur the longer-term positioning. Intellectual capital is the one asset most builders are generating every day without realizing it. Every framework you develop, every insight you articulate, every pattern you notice across clients is knowledge that has value beyond the conversation it came from. Captured it becomes content, systems, processes, products. Left in your head, it disappears when you are not in the room. The difference between builders who compound and builders who just keep busy is almost always how much of what they know they have turned into something that works without them. The compounding happens slowly at first. A documented framework that becomes a piece of content that reaches someone who becomes a client. A captured process that gets refined into something that can be delivered without your direct involvement. A body of thinking that becomes recognizable enough in the market that people seek you out specifically because of the perspective you represent. None of that happens in a week. All of it happens over time if you are capturing and distributing consistently rather than just delivering and moving on. The builders who have the most leverage are almost always the ones who treated their knowledge as an asset to be built rather than a resource to be consumed. The knowledge you are generating right now in your client work is either being captured and compounded, or it is being used once and lost. Those two paths lead to very different places 5 years from now. Next, we are going to look at something that catches many builders off guard. Why your offer works, but your business does not, and what the structural reason behind that gap actually is. I will see you tomorrow.